Good morning. Hello, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone who was able to join us today in this third session for the special questions for FEM 4.0. So today we are going to focus on the water use. For a brief introduction to myself for the ones that are joining us only today. My name is Sandra Teixeira, and I have a chemical degree and in chemical engineering and a master degree in energy engineering. I've been involved more than 20 years, 2 years in the textile industry, which 11 of those years was spent in the industrial field. More recently, I'm involved in conducting environmental audits, self-assessment, water assessments, energy assessments, as well chemical risk assessments. Our agenda for today, firstly, we have welcome and introduction to LES, some introduction also or oversee about FEM 4.0, and we will cover today section 4 water use. Also, we'll cover more specifically the new definitions for the water that were added into FEM 4.0, some added values in implementing FEM 4.0, and about leadership and sustainability. And at the end of this session, as usual, we will have some questions and discussions regarding the topics that will be covered here today. So as we referred in the previous sessions, leadership and sustainability, our CEO, Karin Ekberg, has experienced more than 35 years in performance at corporate strategic level and at facility level. She has been involved in the environmental service at Adidas and also sustainability director as ASA Abloy. And leadership and sustainability stands out from the crowd by our system approach coupled with manufacturing knowledge in order to drive and create change with measurable results. Some notes regarding our Zoom webinar today. We would like to let you know that during this presentation, the audio will be muted in order to ensure the best audio quality. As well, feel free to address all your questions for the topics that are covered in the Q&A function here in the below bar. So we will reply to them all at the end of the session, and following up, we will provide you a link for you with the records and in order to download also the presentation here. Also note, please, that these materials are copyrighted by Cascale and Leadership and Sustainability, so please don't share them outside your facilities or your organization. They are for your use only. And here we go with a brief introduction for FEM 4.0, where just to highlight that this has been improved since from the FEM 3.0 since mid-2020 to address several aspects that were raised during the verifications, and also to align with most recent industry standards and also the best practice. And you can find also in here the technical paper as well to how to Higg FEM 4.0 for your guidance and more detail. Also note that you can purchase your modules from November 2023. A brief overview of the calendar or cycle of FEM 2023 that you know, as I referred, you can purchase from November 2023 until October 2024. You can purchase your modules, as the assessment can be done until the end of December 2024 in order to allow all the new facilities to complete and post. And please note that for the verification 2023, only verified modules can only be posted once. So regarding the new questions, and as I referred, we will focus today on the water use. And the questions that we have selected here today, firstly, we will start with a brief introduction on the water. And as you may know, the water on Earth is finite, and therefore driving an efficient water use and reductions in the facility is a must. So everyone should make the effort to reduce and to track and know where its water is being consumed. And in this section, it is encouraged all the facilities to identify all the sources of water that are used at your facility. Which operations and process does your facility use the most water consumption? Identify those activities or those machines that are less efficient and try to understand if in any way you can have an improvement or reduce that water consumption. Sorry. Also to track and report the quantity of water consumption at your facility. And this is a very important part, so you will be able to support and define your goals with these values that you are taking from your consumptions, and evaluate and adopt solutions to reduce water use. Also here again, the tracking and the accuracy on the data that you will take out from your spreadsheets or your logbooks from the water data records will help you very well in order to understand and define the path that you are going to go in your facility in order to be more sustainable in the water consumption. And also, of course, a way to achieve that is to implement leading practices to reduce water use at your facility. And also you should engage your community and contribute to a sustainable water management and water stewardship activities in your community. The water use here is divided in domestic uses and production uses. And this is a new addition that now FEM 4.0 is focusing, is to also facilities to understand the amount of water that is being consumed for the domestic purposes and also from production purposes, or all the water that is used in the production activities that you have inside your facilities or establishments. So what is considered as water use for production is water that is used in manufacturing operation processes or operations, dyeing or rinsing water, steam generation, clean of equipment components, or tools that contact with the product during the manufacturing process, or any other. For instance, if you have a process that is only screen printing and water that is associated to the wash of the screen prints, it's production water. Or if you have, for instance, also a continuous washing process inside your facility, also this should be tracked, and try to understand individually the consumption of those areas that can be more critical in the water consumption. And as domestic water purposes, is considered that all the water that is used for washroom, sanitation, food preparation, landscape or irrigation, etc., or any other water consumption that is allocated to domestic uses, like these ones that are referred here. As definition, and here FEM have introduced a new definitions for the water consumptions, and we have divided into blue water, gray water, and as blue water is considered as fresh water or surface or groundwater that comes from lakes, rivers, or reservoirs. And this surface water is water that is naturally occurring from Earth's surface, as I referred, lakes, rivers, streams, wetlands, etc., and has low concentration of dissolved solids. This is the fresh water or surface water or groundwater that is under the category of blue water. Also, the groundwater is water that is beneath the soil surface, and the voids and the soil voids are substantially filled with the water. And municipal blue water is water that is provided by the municipality or other public provider with unknown origin, like blue water or grey water. Municipal water with origin unknown is water provided by a municipality or other public provider with unknown origin, blue water or grey water. And we still have under the category of blue water, brackish surface water, seawater. That is, brackish water is saltier than fresh water, but is not saltier as seawater, and is a resulting of mixing of seawater with fresh water, but this will be hostile to the growth of plants. Also is considered as blue water the condensate from external steam sources, water that is generated from the condensation of steam sources and are not located at your facility. And of course, rainwater is water that is from the form of precipitation, rain or stone, or snow, sorry, and it's harvested within your facility and stored for use in the processes. So all these are categories of blue water sources. Also, FEM now is defining grey water sources, and as grey water, the definition is water that has been polluted by human activity, industrial or domestic sources of water. We also could have municipal grey water, that is water provided by a municipality or other public that is generated by grey water. Recycled water, wastewater that has been treated using physical, chemical, and or any additional treatment process to meet the quality which allows the water to be used again in a process. And reused water, that is wastewater discharged from one process and is directly used in another process without undergoing any treatment. And of course, treated wastewater from external sources, that is water that has been discharged and treated by an external source using physical, chemical, or any additional process to meet the requested quality in order to be used again in a process. So we still have as grey water sources, sorry, we still have as grey water sources and treated wastewater from external sources, like treated internally wastewater that has been discharged by an external source, like other manufacturing facility, and treated at your facility using any chemical, physical, or any additional treatment process in order to give the water the proper qualities in order to be used in your process according to the conditions of your process. So these are the categorization now that FEM 4.0 has defined for the water, grey water, and blue water. And as summary of the new questions, we can see that are more focused on tracking water use and sources, including the rejected water from the pretreatment, water pretreatment and disposal, in order to understand which are the paths that these rejected water is going, and also the measurement related to this rejected water. The monitoring and reducing water consumption, also here is a big focus, differentiating domestic and production water use is also a new addition in order to separate and categorize all the water that is being used for domestic purposes and the one that is being used for production purposes, and also to adhere to groundwater restriction and leakage monitoring in order to ensure that you are not losing any water due to lack of maintenance or unseen situations in your facility. As we saw in the energy section, water section, new questions are divided to the 3 levels. And we can see here highlighted in bold are all the new additions or all the new questions that were added to FEM 4.0. But as I referred previously in this verification cadence for 2023, only level 1 questions will be verified because are the ones that are included in the core set of questions, and as well some quantitative metric questions. And in the level 1 questions, you can see here that are additions related to the tracking water use, the tracking of domestic and production water, groundwater abstraction restriction, and of course, the monitoring of the leakages. As some questions that we have prepared, here we can have question 3 related tracking water use, and the question is, does your facility track water use from each water source your facility utilizes? So here the idea is really to track all the water sources that your facility is using inside for production and for domestic purposes. If you reply yes to this question, you will have automatically populated the question, therefore, does the water consumption you track and report include the rejected water quantity from the pretreatment? And here pretreatment is really the treatment that you do of the water that's coming, or fresh water that is coming from wells, rivers, or mains, or in order to give them the necessary properties or quality in order to be used in your specific processes. And here the idea is to track and report and include this rejected water from the pretreatment. And this rejected water is, for instance, if you are having a sand filter in the beginning or after the entrance into your facility of the fresh water, and you need to have a sand filter in order to retain all the solids that this water may have. Afterwards, after a while, these sand filters are being used, you need to do a backwash, and this is rejected water from the pretreatment. And the idea is to understand and the amount of water is being used here in these pretreatments, and which is the path that this water is undertaking. If this water from the rejected pretreatment is going directly to your ETP, or if in some cases it's common to see that this water is directed again to the main tank that captures the fresh water and dilute it there, and then again go into a filter process. And so this water will not be totally sent to the wastewater treatment plant and is being recycled, let's say like that, or reuse it. And if you say yes to this question, so you will have specific sub-questions that are, please select the types of treatment that you are having inside your facility. As I referred, this is an example. You can have sand filters, reverse osmosis treatment, ion exchange treatment, whatever is the treatment that you have inside your facility to have this pretreatment, you should clarify it here in these questions. And of course, does your facility measure water rejected from the pretreatment what are the water sources sent to throughout the pretreatment, and you should also indicate the annual quantity. And again, we ask your attention to the units that you are using. These water reports should all be reported in meter cubics. What is the rejected percentage that you are using for this water? If you are not using meter cubics, also you as unit measure, you should also provide the conversion factor that you are using from the units that you are having inside your facility. What is the method of disposal of this rejected water? As I referred in the beginning, if it's sent again directly to the ETP, or if somehow you are reusing it inside your facility in any way. And still, again, regarding the tracking of water use and the suggested uploads, you should suggest regarding the freshwater pretreatment flow, process flow and hydraulic diagram, so we can understand which are the cycle of the water or the paths of the water that are inside in your facility. And this was an example of question level 1 that will be verified at your facility. Now, an example of a level 2 questions is the increasing of gray water use. As your facility increase gray water use from any sources compared with your baseline. So you see here that we are going now more deep in order to understand the sources of water. And the idea with this question is really to the facility to increase the gray water use rather than use the blue water sources. So the idea is to recycle and reuse water. And this question is really on that sense, in order to understand if the facility was able from the previous baseline to increase the gray water use. And here you should report the baseline quantity, reported unit of measure, and reported the baseline year in order to understand what was your starting point and compare yourself in that period. As the facility increased water consumption for this source, it compared with its baseline. So also here, and here, the idea, as I referred, is really to increase the consume of water, of gray water. And the achievement or change in percentage, you should also introduce this value and the water used from this source compared to the baseline. And here the negative value will mean that you will have a reduction on the use of the gray water source, and a positive value will mean that you have an increase of gray water source. And here the idea is really to have a positive value, because the goal is really to increase the gray water value of water use. And also you should describe which are the strategies or the actions that you have taken in order to achieve this increasement or this improvement in your facility. As suggested uploads for this question, you should upload all the documents that support an increase of the gray water use that was achieved, an increase that was related to the specific actions that were taken by the facility in order to increase this use. So you should upload all the documents that you have available in order to support your reply and to clearly mirror which are the actions that you have taken in order to achieve your goal or achieve this water increasing in the gray water use. And then as example, the water consumption data and baselines, the evidence of the process modification, if any, or the new equipment or work practice that resulted in this improvement. So all the actions that you have taken, you should show them or upload all the evidence here as support for your questions. Regarding the one example for question level 3 for the water is reducing absolute blue water use. And here you see it's a reverse. The idea is really to reduce the absolute the blue water use. And can your facility demonstrate you have reduced your overall absolute blue water use? How much has your facility reduced in percentage? What is your baseline absolute quantity? So in order to understand the total amount of blue water use that you are having in your facility. Describe the strategies used to achieve this improvement, or which are the actions, the reductions in water use, or in order to support or any equipment that you are using now that allows you to reduce the consumption of blue water use. But you should take note that reduction in water use due to reductions in production volume is not considered as improvement, as this will not result in a sustainable improvement. So production fluctuation is not considered as improvement. If you will have less production, of course, you will have less water consumption, and this will reflect also in the blue water use that will be lesser if you have lesser production. As suggested uploads also here is suggested to upload all the support documentation and reduction in absolute blue water use that was achieved, and which are the specific actions that were taken by the facility in order to achieve these water reduction. Also here we have as example water consumption data and baselines, the evidence of the process modifications or any new equipment that you are having or the working practice that you have implemented in order to achieve these goals and objectives. So these are the questions that we have prepared today regarding the water use. And also we will like to highlight here that for the water section there is amount of quantitative data that is required. And also here you should take care and pay attention in the values that you are inputting or inserting into the Wordly platform, because if you are missing or not having the accurate values or precise values, or not using the correct data sources, this will of course reflect in your goals and your baselines and the targets that you will define to be achieved. So overall water consumption per year will be required as quantitative data, which are the water sources used annually. So all water sources should be tracked in a proper and accurate way and with a periodic value, so you can also compare it yourself from this month with the previous months in order to understand why are you consuming so much water or lesser water, and understand what kind of process have you undergoing in your facility that allow you to increase or reduce the water consumption. If you use water in production, track and document water consumption separately between domestic and production use. So now this is also requested. You should separate your water consumption, the production use from domestic use, and detail all water sources that are being used for each one of these two categories. Also the documentation of water usage, and here we can include, for instance, your invoices, your logbooks, your spreadsheets, where you have your information gathered and collected. And our advice is that you could have one spreadsheet with all your information from this year and the previous years, one sheet per year, for instance, where you can track and also compare yourself with previous months and previous year for the same period and understand where you are standing at the moment. So this part is really important, and if you are able to have the information together in only one site, one spreadsheet, will be easier for you to understand your values and to analyze them deeply and to take actions and with those values and implement some improvements inside your facility regarding any process that you have identified as intensive water consuming. So this part of the quantitative data is really important, because will be the base for all your work and all your sustainability measures that you will take after, regarding, of course, the water consumption. And with this part, we completed the question that we have prepared for today. Again, we will have a quick overview regarding LES team and the places where we are located in the globe. Also, where our experts and the number of our experts per each one of the locations that you may find it here. Also, our contact sales that you can reach out to us if you are interested into any assessment from our side or any support. Please feel free to contact us. And also some of our webinars available in our webpage. You can find these ones and many others that may interest you. Please feel free, and I invite you here again to look into it. And here you can see also our global team, and we will have here our log to our website. Also, you have here our eLearn Academy link, so you can look into it, and if you feel the need that you are wanting to have a better understanding and of all the questions that are included in the Higg FEM 4.0, we have here a step-by-step course where you can have more deep information about all the questions that are included in FEM 4.0, and also you have our email to reach us. And now we are open to questions and discussions for any subject that was here included today. I will stop my sharing in order to see the questions that you have placed here in the water section. We have one here that is, I guess, I don't know if it's Chinese but unfortunately, I cannot understand it. Yin Yang, sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but please, if you can address your question in English by email, we will reply to you. Yes, Islam, we will share with you the previous modules, of course. If you are, we will address you by your email. You will receive a link to download the materials and also the video record. The question from this participant: we put actual data in the Higg FEM portal, but it shows your domestic consumption high or production water low. How can we solve? That depends, of course, on your activity. If you are, for instance, a cotton sew and have a very small production, of course, your water, domestic water, will be higher than your production water. This is not right or wrong, just you need to separate your domestic water from your production water. For instance, in the case that you are having, as I said, a cotton sew plant and you have a small screen printing production, the production water will be only the water related to the screen printing wash off of the frame. So this is no right or wrong. You need to separate and detail the information, what is water for production and water for domestic use, because in the cotton sew is a dry process. You don't have involved water in this, and all the water is related to the human consumption or canteen or washrooms. So yeah. Non-contact cooling water is gray water. No, in this case, is considered as blue water, because non-contacting cooling water is considered as a water that is in a closed loop and is not contacting with real production. So in this case, is considered as blue water and not gray water. If we increase rainwater capacity and decrease groundwater, it can be a positive or negative value. In this case, I think will not interfere because the idea is really to reduce blue water consumption, and both groundwater and rainwater are considered as blue water sources. Of course, if you are harvesting rainwater from, it will be an additional source of water that you are not taking any water from the ground. Is also beneficial for all the ones that are having the possibility to do so. But in terms of reducing the goal that is reducing the use of blue water, the both are considered as blue water. The idea here is to reuse, recycle the water that you are having. If you have the possibility to create or to reuse or to reduce, really the goal is to understand the process that you have inside your facility and try to reduce the amount of the water that you are having, of course, ensuring that you are still having the proper quality of your goods. Otherwise, you will have you will need to spend more water in order to remediate all the non-quality issues. So it's really important to understand where you can reduce and until when you can reduce this amount of water in order to ensure that you will not have any quality issues inside your facility coming up from the reducing of your water consumption. So this is really a very thin equilibrium that you need to understand. And you can do it in several ways, of course, by understanding the process and try reducing the water consumption at the start, or to replace your machinery if you have the financial health in order to do that, in order to have more sustainable machines, or machines that are, if you are, for instance, using or having a dyeing process inside your facility, using machines that are having a liquid ratio lower than 1.5 is also a good way to reduce water, or a best available technology. So you have several processes available that you can, of course, implement some actions in order to reduce your blue water or your water consumption. I could not Yes, we will share the records, as I previously said. Since water consumption is based also on production volumes, absolute numbers will not really reflect change in performance. Should not relative numbers be included as well? You can include then the absolute numbers, values. You will start from those absolute numbers, if I'm understanding well your question. But when you normalize these values, you will have the consumption in liter per kilogram, for instance, and you will automatically know when you normalize your values to understand this year, for produce 1 kilo of my production of my garments or my products, my goods, I spend X liters per kilo. The year before, I spend Y liters per kilo, and automatically you can correlate and understand if you are increasing or decreasing your water consumption. So that's why it's really important, or we highly recommend that you will use normalized baselines, because you already will be normalizing these values by the production. Because if you increase or decrease your water consumption due to having more production or lesser production, here you will not have a clear picture about your real consumption, the liter per kilogram. The difference from gray water and blue water. Blue water is considered all the fresh water, or water that is used in any process that has not been direct contact with the process itself, like the cooling water, that close cooling water, or the condensate from steam, that is water that is not being in direct contact with production. Gray water is all the water that is already being used in process and will be treated and reuse it again in your production process. That can be from a municipality that can directly provide you also this gray water. For instance, in some cases, there are municipalities that recycle an amount of that water, of the ETP water, and prepare it and redirect it again to the facilities. And that part is considered as gray water. And as I said, blue water is all the fresh water, all the water that you take from the environment in a resumed way. Okay, I already explained it. What quantity I will mention in annual volume, annual production quantity, or shipped quantity. In this case, and as per the Higg FEM protocol, what is requested regarding the production is always the shipped quantity, meaning all the production that you have shipped to your customers. That at the end of the year, if you are producing more than in 1 month, but you do not ship all that production that same month, but at the end of the year will be a balance, and everything that you produce will be shipped, because the value is taking the full year of 2023 data. So will not be any difference. How do we have to set separate baselines, and new baselines will be verified as quantitative data? No. In this cycle of verification of 2023 for FEM 4.0, only level 1 questions will be verified, as I previously referred, and some quantitative metrics that are only regarding the total amounts of domestic water, total amounts of production, total amounts of production water, not the baselines. The baselines are level 2 questions, so this will not be verified. Only the volumes, the total amount of volumes of water, energy, waste will be verified, part of the quantitative metrics. What is the best way to track separate production from domestic water meters in each production process? Yes, that can be a way, and I think that is a better way, is to have really water meters or flow meters in the lines for each one of the processes. And if you have that way possible in your facility, that is a good way, because you will have real values and you can measure them and track them every month. So yes, that will be a good way to track the production from the domestic, because of course, and also this will depend which are the source of the water that you are using from the facility. If you are using municipality water, usually you will have an invoice from the municipality. If you are using groundwater or river water or wherever is the water that you are capturing from the environment, you need to have, of course, flow meters to track the water that you have inside your facility. But yes, I highly recommend the use of flow meters, if possible, in each one of the areas, in order also to identify which are the most intensive water consumption area or process that you have inside your facility. And also here, once you identify these points, you really can act on them. Sorry. Can I get to please send my email? Please send my email. Yes, I guess here you are asking for the records. You will receive these records from the today's session and the previous ones also. Hello, my facility. In our facility, we only use water domestic proposed. What kind of records do we have to do? In this case, if you are only use water for domestic proposed, here you need to declare the amount of water that you are using inside your facility based on the invoices that you are having or receiving from your municipal supply, or if you are using water from groundwater, borewell water, here you should also declare the total amount of water based on your logbooks or water data records that you are having inside your facility, and declare them in the part where is for domestic use. And also this question is already also connected with activities that you will select in the beginning of the questionnaire. So if you say that you are only a cut and sew, of course you will not have production water. But if you say that you are a cut and sew and you also have some other process inside, like screen printing or a small laundering, so here you will have also production water. So also here you need to carefully select the activities that your facility is having inside, because these questions or the path for your verification will change according to the applicability questions and the activities that you are selecting in the beginning of your questionnaire. We use manipulated water, the question here is, if you use manipulated water meter for domestic use and production use without separate meter, how to calculate each consumption? I don't know, I'm not sure what you mean by manipulated water meter. And use without separate meter. Yeah, if you only have 1 meter, it's not easy to separate domestic water from production water. I don't know if this is the question that you meant, but ideally you should at least, and if it is possible, of course, depending on the lines that you're on, water lines that you have, and the infrastructure that you have on your facility for the water lines, you should have install a flow meter in the line of the water that goes for the production, in order to separate the both. Freshwater pretreatment means ETP treatment? No. Freshwater pretreatment means that if you are using any kind of water that is coming from groundwater, river, or mains, whatever is the water source, and you feel the need that that water needs to have a proper, or for the specific process that you are using inside your facility. For instance, if you are a dye house and you feel that your water has a lot of particles, or you need to adjust that water in any case for the process that you are using, this water undergoes pre-treatment before it goes to the production section. And this is what it's meant to pre-treatment water. And as I referred in the example, we have sand filters, we have carbon filters, we have ion exchange filters. It could be a reverse osmosis process that you may have inside your facility in order to prepare the water to be used in the production. So afterwards, the preparation, you will have some residues resulting from this preparation, preparation of the water. And the idea here is really to track these residues and where they are going to be sent. If they are going to be sent directly to the ETP, or if they are going to be reused again in some way in your process. Going directly to the main tank for the capturing the water from the river, mains, or wells, or if you are directly send them out as residue to your ETP or municipal ETP, depending on the type of situation that you have inside your facility. If I understood, by recycling process is very expensive and it's increased our production cost. Yes, that could be increasing, but at the end you are not paying additional fees for the water that you are using in the place of that reused water. Of course, this is a balance and an understanding that you need to analyze or investigate inside your facility, understand which is the best way. Here, there are some proposals or some suggestions in order to address the water issue, the water consumption issue, and reducing that water consumption. Our groundwater approval is too old. Is that we need to get a new approval? This is really important, and you need to understand if your permit for groundwater or any kind of water source that you are using in your facility is with valid date. This is really important because in this year, this is one of the new questions, is if you have any environmental permit or facility permit, working permit not valid, this is a hard stop. You will still be able to complete your self-assessment and the verification will be also verified, but at the end you will not score, okay? Score is 0 if you don't have a permit with valid date for the working license or any environmental permit not available or with valid date. Just for your awareness. Does Does your facility implement any leading technology practice to significantly reduce water use? Please briefly describe. So here is the idea. If your facility, this is what is called best available technologies, that are several, and of course that will depend on the type of process that you are using inside your facility. If you are having, for instance, if you are a laundry and you are a denim laundering and you are using, instead of stone wash, you install a laser machine, not to having the stone wash, this is a leading practice. If you are a dyeing mill and you install jet dyeing machines with liquor ratio less than 1.5, this is another best available technology, as many others. So of course this will depend on the type of process that you are having inside your facility. And if you have any of these practices inside your facility, of course, then you need to describe them here in order to support, because this will be something that will support you in order to achieve your goal at the end, that will be to reduce the amount of water consumption. Can you share with us some technology, the colorant, how we have improved the color result of our wastewater discharge by 100% CTP? In this case, I'm sorry, I don't have enough knowledge in order to share with you which some technology or some the colorants. There are, of course, some specific products that you can have during your ETP treatment in order to decolorate your water, but of course the concentration and the type of product suitable for your water will depend, of course, in the type of process that you are undergoing a facility, and will not be really feasible for me to give you any suggestion, because it really needs to be analyzed process by process, and this of course will be connected to the type of process and colors that you are undergoing in your facility. If you are only doing blacks and navy blues, or if you are doing only whites or very light colors, of course this will depend of the process. So if there is no more questions for today, I will thank you so much for your attendance, and I will see you in the next session for some more interesting topics. Thank you so much for being here today, and have a nice day or afternoon or evening. Bye-bye.